Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to Thursday's English lesson. We have got a very exciting lesson planned today, but to start off with, we want to know what you already know. So, on Padlet, you will find an outline of a penguin and an egg. If possible, we would like you to print these. However, if you can't, you can always type directly on the screen. Just ask an adult to help you. So firstly, inside the penguin, we would like you to write down, or get an adult to help you write down, any facts you know about penguins. That could be anything about what they eat, where they live, their colours, different names of penguins, what jobs different body parts do, anything at all that you know, we'd like you to write down inside the penguin. Off you go. Well done, Year 2. I bet you already know so many facts about penguins. If you don't, not to worry, because that's our job today. You are going to become a penguin expert. Firstly, though, we need to read the book. So I'll pop that up on the screen now. I'll read it to you, and there's also a copy for your adults to share with you if they want to. Okay, so The Emperor's Egg by Martin Jenkins. Down at the very bottom of the ocean, of the world, there's a huge island that's almost completely covered in snow and ice. It's called Antarctica, and it's the coldest, windiest place on Earth. The weather's bad enough there in summer, but in winter it's really terrible. It's hard to imagine anything actually living there. But wait, what's that shape over there? It can't be. Yes, it's a penguin. It's not just any old penguin either. It's a male emperor penguin, the biggest penguin in the world, and he is doing a very important job. He's taking care of his egg. Well, he didn't lay it himself, of course. His mate did that a few weeks ago. But very soon afterwards, she turned around and waddled off to the sea. That's where female emperor penguins spend most of the winter, swimming about, getting as fat as they can, eating as much as they can, and generally having a very nice time, as far as you can tell. Emperor penguins mainly eat fish, squid, and tiny shrimp-like animals called krill. The father penguin, stuck on the ice with his egg. Now, the most important thing about an egg sitting is to stop your egg from getting cold. That means it has to be kept off the ice and out of the wind. And what a better way to do that than to rest the egg on your feet and tuck it right up under your tummy, which is just what the father penguin does. And that's how he'll stay for 2 whole months. Until his egg is ready to hatch. Can you imagine it? Standing around in the freezing cold with an egg on your feet for 2 whole months. Female emperor penguins lay 1 egg in May or June, which is the beginning of winter in Antarctica. What's more, there's nothing for the father penguin to eat on land. And because he's egg sitting, he can't go off to sea to feed. So that means 2 whole months with an egg on your feet and no dinner, or breakfast, or lunch, or snacks. I don't know about you, but I'd be very, very miserable. Luckily, the penguins don't seem to mind too much. They have thick feathers and lots of fat under their skin to help keep them warm. And when it gets really cold and windy, they all snuggle up together and shuffle over the ice in a great big huddle. Most of the time, the huddle trundles along very, very slowly. But sometimes, when the penguins get to a particularly slippery slope, they slide down it on their tummies, pushing themselves along with their flippers, always remembering to take care of their egg and trying hard not to bump into each other. Even though the males keep the egg tucked right up under their tummies, when they slide, it sometimes rolls out and breaks. And that's how the father penguin spends the winter. until one day he hears a cheep, cheep, cheep. His egg is starting to hatch. It takes a day or so, but finally the egg cracks right open and out pops a penguin chick. Now the father penguin has two jobs to do. He has to keep the chick warm and he has to feed it. The chick is only about 15 centimetres tall at first and much too small to keep warm all by itself. But on what? The chick is too small to be taken off to the sea to catch food, and it can't be left behind on the ice. Well, deep down in the father penguin's throat, there's a pouch where he makes something a little like milk, and that's what he feeds to his hungry chick. The father penguin can only make enough of the milky stuff to feed his chick for a couple of weeks, but just as he's about to run out, a dot appears on the horizon. It gets closer and closer, and yes, it's Mum. She starts trumpeting hello, and the father penguin starts trumpeting hello, and the chick whistles. The racket goes on for hours, and it really does sound as if they're incredibly pleased to see each other. Every adult penguin has its own special call, like a fingerprint. Chicks have their own special whistle too. As soon as things have calmed down, the mother penguin is sick, right into her chick's mouth. Yuck, you may think. Yum, thinks the chick, and gobbles the lot down. It's the mother's turn to look after the chick now, while the father sets off to sea for a well-earned meal of his own. About time too. I really hope you enjoyed the story, Year 2. Now I want you to discuss with your adult, what type of book is this? What facts did you find interesting? And what new information did you learn about the emperor penguins? Have a chat now. Okay, now for the really exciting bit. You're going to begin your journey towards becoming a penguin expert. You'll be finding out, and we say researching, more information about emperors and other types of penguins. So now's time for you to choose what you want to find out about. This is where the egg template comes in from the first slide. You're going to write down any questions that you want to investigate. Just a little reminder, questions always begin with who, what, where, when, or why. So when you write your question, you might say, who looks after the chick if the mum gets hungry? Or when do chicks decide to hatch an egg? So the question is, what would you like to find out? Remember to include a question mark at the end of your question. Now it's time to talk to your adult about the questions you want to ask. Ask them to help you note these down on your egg templates and stick these around the outside of your penguin. Off you go. I hope you've written down lots of really exciting questions that you want to find out the answers to. It would be great if you could send these to us via the Year 2 email so that we can share some of these on Twitter for other people to use as well. Now, the last thing is, to be a good researcher, you need to find out the information and then put it into your own words. When carrying out this kind of research on something non-fictional, you may come across some technical vocabulary. So with your adult, I would now like you to talk about what these words mean. Habitat, life cycle, young, appearance, diet, and lifespan. Can you try and include some of this technical vocabulary in your questions? We can't wait to read your questions and find out more about what you want to know. We're then going to use this to help us next week plan the next piece of writing. So please make sure you email these to the Year 2 email account. We're really looking forward to reading your questions, and we hope you've really enjoyed the learning so far this week.